Well, hello, Viking football fans, and welcome to this edition of the Billy Skinner Lamar Viking Football Coaches Show. I'm Bill Frawley, and with me, as always, of course, is head Viking football coach and Lamar High School athletic director Billy Skinner. Coach, how are you doing this Tuesday morning?
Man, that's weird to say, isn't it? It's a short week. Our guys still came in and worked on Monday, and we got a good practice in. But it's strange. It's Tuesday and we play on Thursday, so I feel like we got to get going.
That makes sense, and and I like being able to subscribe into the sports that the coaches, players, parents, all that are into, because I see the messages y'all send out, and I'm just going to kind of start off here. Coach Byard, wow, is he not a positive influence on those guys with the
Oh,
messages and stuff he sends
you,
out?
you talk about he is one of the best parts of our program. He believes in the vision, and not only does he believe in our vision, but he adds so much to it, from the communication piece. But we talk about loving our kids, and he lives that every single day. He makes sure that he communicates to the parents. The parents know, we love these kids, and they know that Coach Byard loves these kids. And yes, I mean, you hit it right on the head. He's somebody that we're lucky to have in our program.
Well, I've gotten to know him through my involvement with the baseball program, announcing, broadcasting, coaches show with Kino for that also. And so I've gotten to know Coach Byard over there, but it's really been cool. I feel like I'm taking a deeper dive, even though he and I don't have the personal interaction necessarily, but the messages he sends out, and then the things I hear from you, Coach Williamson, who I spent some time with in the booth last Thursday evening for the freshman game. But yeah, Coach Byard seems to have that combination of, he's the authority figure. He's leading the freshman team, but he's supportive. But he's got that. This is what we're doing, guys, and just what a neat guy. Anyway, I
Oh,
won't go
absolutely.
on and on too long.
No, there are so many things that you can say about him. And the other thing that, if you get a chance when you watch him on Thursday, just the fire that
Yes.
he competes with. I think that energy is contagious. And if our kids pull anything from Coach Byard, I hope one, they pull how much he loves them, but two, I hope they pull just his competitive nature, how excited he gets at, um, just at any moment when we're having success and whenever we're struggling a little bit. I mean, he lives the good mantra. And so I definitely, I see it, and I'm glad you guys see it.
Well, and just I'll add on one more thing. I mentioned just a second ago that I spent Thursday evening announcing the freshman games, and Coach Williamson was up there running clock and scoreboard, and and what a great guy he is. Also, I'll brag on him a little bit more at some point today or next time. But I was saying something about Coach Byard. He goes, that guy's a stud. I mean, look at him on the sidelines. Just what you said, and Coach, what that says to me, lest anyone thinks this is the Coach Byard show, is that all of you and your staff, and it's got to be beyond the three of y'all that I've just mentioned, what an incredible team attitude y'all have as coaches and leaders.
I think a big piece of it is I mean, we're going into 3 year or 3 year, we're going into year three together as a complete staff. Byard was the newest one that we brought on. But everybody else has been here since I've gotten here. And I think that goes a long way too. Whenever you've got that continuity, we understand each other, we know each other, we can communicate with one another. It's easy to live the vision whenever you've been a part of the vision from the beginning. So that's been, I think, a cool thing about our place is that there's not a lot of turnover within our coaching staff. And so the guys know what my expectation is, and they do a really good job of going out and executing it.
Well, speaking of executing it, how about the defense executing it
Oh,
last Friday night when the Vikings hosted the Waxahachie Indians? I mean, holy cow. I mentioned you just a few minutes ago before we went kind of live, so to speak. That's probably one of the happiest times I've walked away from a game of any sport where the team I was supporting fell short on the scoreboard, and what, only by 8 points or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. No, it was incredible to be on the sideline and see. I can tell you right now, there's not we're talking about guys on the staff, Zach Naharo and his ability to, one of the things we do here is we say good when bad things happen. Turnover, good. Block punt, good. Whatever it is, we say good because it's an opportunity. A failure by one is an opportunity for another. And so there were some times where the balls turned over, deep in their own territory, and they've got an opportunity to go and score, and it's an easy opportunity for guys on defense to be like, oh crud, here we go again. But Coach Naharo, just the way he spoke life into those guys before they went on the field, there was no way they were going to let him down, and they didn't. I mean, you talk about playing a lights out game, and I'm not normally big into stats, but I've got to shout out Damian Brown,
Oh yeah.
defensive lineman for us. He plays interior. He had 14 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, an interception, and a defensive touchdown. I mean, about as dominant of a performance that you can get from a kid on defense, and he did it from inside. It reminded me, I was really lucky to be at the Texas Nebraska Big 12 championship here at AT&T Stadium when Ndamukong Suh
Oh,
played against the University of Texas, and that his game and how he played and just constantly in the backfield, it reminded me of Ndamukong Suh during that game. And just if you get an opportunity to talk to Damian, anybody in North Arlington gets an opportunity to talk to Damian, you're going to absolutely love that kid. Just a sweet, unassuming. I mean, he shows up, he does his job really, really well. He's not going to talk a lot about himself. So yes, awesome performance by our defense, awesome performance by our defense coordinator and our defensive staff. And then some just great individual efforts by those guys. Really, they gave us a chance. And at the end of the day, sometimes that's all you can ask for is an opportunity.
I'm kind of curious. What did he have to say after the pick six?
I'm tired. That's a long run. And
Well,
he might have, you know what? He's asked me to carry the ball a couple of times. Yeah, there might have been a I told you in there as well. So we might look at something.
Okay. Well, what a great opportunity for a defensive guy like him to be able to score a touchdown especially in a close game like all that. And other defenders. I mean, Martinez, Cooper Barnard, so many other guys, playing such an incredible game.
And I'll tell you another one that's jumping out right now is a guy named Porter Johnson.
Yes.
He's one of our corners, and he and Von Smith are doing a great job. Porter's come up with 2 interceptions in 2 weeks. And it's guys with really good athletes on the outside testing a guy, not sure he can go and make the play. And I mean, just from the beginning of the rep to the end of the rep and finishing through a football and going and getting an interception, he has really, really turned some heads. And he's really done some things, which allows you to get creative with your defensive front when you got guys on the outside who cover as well as he and as Vaughn have been covering.
Well, and those two and others, they actually, and we were talking about this on the broadcast and in the booth, they became the receivers
Yep.
actually at times. Even if they didn't get the interception, they got up, knocked the ball away, and it's really cool how they're playing that tight coverage and doing a good job with
Yes.
it.
And I'm telling you, 85% of that job at that position is confidence, and those two are playing with a ton of confidence, and we as a coaching staff have a lot of confidence in them. So that's a good feeling.
Well, hey, look, the offense didn't get any points on the board, and just like you said earlier, there's good. And I just noticed a while ago your shirt says "good" on it too.
Got to
So
remind everybody.
yeah, I love it. I love it. Hey, how about Peoples and how about Melvin Marshall? And I mean, coming through in a time
Yep.
of need and doing
Yep.
everything they could, driving their legs. We were watching how many times they pulled defenders with them.
Yes. No, and that's you talk about VFND spirit, those two, just with how they carry the football, they run angry, and like you're saying, Peoples he played a little bit of running back, and on his first carry, probably could have been a gain of 1, gain of 2, but he keeps those legs churning and going, and it's a first down play, and we pull 4 yards out of it. And anytime you get 4 yards on a first down, I mean that makes life a little bit easier for a play caller. And so having those guys was definitely it was big time for us. And we had to get creative. Sydney didn't play this previous week. He was nursing some things, and so hopefully we'll have him back this week. We want to make sure we're taking care of his body so he's good to go for district. So we had to get creative at the running back spot. You saw a bunch of guys back there. Deontay Gentry got some touches. Jalen Humbles, that's a guy that first game struggled a little bit. There's
Yeah.
no bones about it. He won't shy away from it. And instead of complaining, you talk about a good team guy, and he wears number 0 because for us 0 is zero ego. And he came in with 0 ego, and he's like, coach, I want to be a part. I want to do whatever our team needs us to do. And he was there for some protection things. He got some carries, and just things like that go a long way for us and for our team. And I think it's important that everybody in our community understands, all of our families understand, all of our kids understand. This deal is not where we start. It's not about us. As much as I want to start fast and I want to be 2-0 and all of those things, I would rather us be playing our best football down the stretch. We want to get into the tournament. That's our number one goal this year. We want to be a playoff football team. Well, we got to go through some of these lumps. We got to have a bunch of these, what I call good moments, which is bad crap happening to us offensively, but good because we're learning off of it. We're finding things out about personnel and how we can get them in positions to have success down the stretch so that we can get in the tournament and then we can make noise in the tournament.
Well, I've already seen so much progress the first 2 games of this season, not just one game to game, but also in the 3 years. Look at this game compared to that same opponent last year, and they had a lot of returning players, and it seems like there's a lot of progress and momentum going towards that hope, dream attitude of we're going to make it to the tournament.
No doubt about it. Our district struggled this week. Just if you look at all of the scores, we went over this week as a district, and I think a big piece of it is we as a district played a really, really tough schedule this week. And so I think that there are going to be opportunities for everybody to bounce back. I think there's going to be opportunities this year for us to reach that goal of getting into the tournament. So again, we're not flinching. We're not in panic mode. I am a huge believer in staying the course and getting our message this week is masters of the mundane. We got to get really good at the boring stuff within our offense, really good with the boring stuff within our defense. And if we can do that, the teams that do the boring crap the best normally are your best teams.
Definitely so. And that is tough to kind of be the master of that mundane in any profession, any job, any school subject, whatever, is staying alert, staying positive, staying with that drive through the boring stuff for sure. Yep. Well, hey, these aren't boring things at all, but the next thing is, how about our sub-varsity teams and the things that they're doing?
Oh my goodness. So we played 4 games. Again, we've got 2 JVs, 2 freshmen. Let's go. That's a huge win for the program. And we played a bunch of tough games against Waxahachie. You talk about a great program from 9 to 12. Coach Tollison at Waxahachie does about as good of a job as anybody in the state of Texas. Our JV group, I mean, we are so stinking close. That JV Navy group, we were up a majority of that game, gave up a late touchdown. But what I'm loving about that group is that there's a bunch of selfless guys making big plays, and there's a bunch of selfless guys that we've probably got 5 kids on that JV group that could be varsity players. But a big rule for us is if they're not going to get over X amount of reps on a Friday night, we want them to get all of the reps on a Thursday night so that they can develop. Well, that's hard. That's really, really hard for kids, but we've got a bunch of kids who swallow their pride and they're playing really good football and trying to help that team have success. And I'm telling you, we're right there on the cusp with that JV Navy group. And I think that we're really close to getting over the hump and getting them in the win column. And I think once that happens, you're going to see a snowball effect with that group. And so I'm really, really excited for them. That freshman game, you got to experience it. Holy moly. What a game. And we've talked about how special this freshman group is. And I think the thing that I was most impressed with this week was we had to scratch and claw for 4 quarters. I mean, we were down going into the 4th quarter. We had made some mistakes, and just to see some guys bounce back and make some game-changing plays. I mean, John Meredith, the quarterback for that group, early on made some incredible plays and then had a couple of struggling moments. And on the sideline, he brought it back together. And then he remembered, hey, this is not about me. This is about our team. And he goes out offensively, plays a good game. He goes out defensively. I'm telling you, that dude is a ball player. He was playing deep middle safety. We're in a cover 3, not to get too deep in
That's
the
okay.
weeds
Do
with
it.
this.
Do it.
He's at 15 yards. Ball carrier gets the ball and he makes a tackle for -4 yards. That's a dude who is covering some ground, getting downhill. And so just guys like that, guys like Zion Johnson, another one that he wants to have an impact on the game anywhere he's at, whether special teams, defense, offense, for him to be able to pop that game-winning touchdown run for that group and really face that adversity head first and not flinch. I'm so excited for them because they passed a very important test, which is what do you do when you face a team that's just as talented as you are? And I think they answered that question emphatically this week. So now for them, it's a matter of, okay, how do we sustain this level of play? How do we sustain being the quote unquote top dogs? So I'm excited for them to respond.
Good. Another good word, Coach. Sustain. You've had success. You got momentum now. Let's keep it going through the mundane. Hey,
No doubt.
we'll weave some of those words together.
That's
All
right.
right. Well, this week, like you already alluded to, things are a day earlier. So this is Tuesday morning as we're recording this. So Wednesday evening, and instead of 5:30, it'll be 6:30 for initial kickoffs. That's for
Yes.
JV at home and freshman away, correct?
That's right. So JV Gold and Freshman Gold will kick off at 6:30. JV's here at Cravens Field, and then our freshmen will play at Timber Creek. Play
Central.
at Keller Central, and that's at 6:30 kickoff, and then 8 o'clock the Navies will kick off again. JV is here, and then the freshmen they'll be at Keller Central.
Okay. And then any adjustment in terms of kickoff time so far for varsity away at Keller Central?
No, sir. We're going at
7.
7 o'clock. This is their homecoming game, so take that information and use it however you will. Our kids are well aware that it's their homecoming game, so there's that as well.
All right. So here's something I want to point out, Coach. The last 2 Tuesday nights, I had the pleasure of being kind of the guest stand-in announcer for the ladies volleyball teams at home. Number one, that's an amazing sport to watch, especially from the scorers table level. Yep. I mean, that there's a lot of intensity, but I gotta say this. The student body, and especially the male student athletes or friends, whatever, man, they come out for those games and they support the other sports, not just there. I've seen them at basketball over the years. I've seen,
Yep.
the older guys come to JV baseball. I've seen football players come to baseball. My point is, let's see how many people we can get over at Keller Central on Thursday evening. It's an away game, but work with Waze and traffic and Google Maps, whatever. It's not a long drive, folks. I mean, I hope this doesn't sound bad. Let's wreck their homecoming on the field.
Hey,
on the field.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
But we need support in the stands.
That's it. We want to have as many people there as possible. We want it to feel like a home game for us. So
yeah,
and you're spot on, man. Those volleyball games are a lot of fun to go and watch, and just as fun as our girls on the floor or the guys and our student section cheering them on and making sure that we've got a little juice and got a little momentum. So yeah, that'd be very cool to have a similar outpouring of support for us on Thursday.
Well, speaking of juice and momentum, I'll work this word in. We can call sports drinks sports juice, maybe, just to weave those words together. Are you still getting donations for the sports drink drive?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
We're always accepting it. Families, if y'all are at Sam's Club or Costco or any of those places and you see some on sale and you want to find a way to help the program, just grab an extra case of 20-ounce sports drink, whatever it is. We're not snobby about it. And it will gladly be appreciated by your kiddos. Again, we want to make sure that after every game, after every competition, they get something cool on them and get some Gatorade. So I know they're looking forward to it, but always accepting. All
right. One other thing I want to point out is on our broadcast, I want to point out Jay Ryan, who does so much. He's our producer. He's the home field PA announcer for Varsity on Friday nights. We've got a great crew: Steve Langford, Richie Sherrod, Tony Zimmerman, Javi Najera. All these guys put a lot of stuff together. But my main point is there are people. We actually have an international audience. We have a fan in Canada. We've
That's
had fans
awesome.
in other countries at times. And I just got a message this past few days. Hey, I need to be able to send the link out to my family and friends in other states. So I want the players and the coaches to realize, in addition to what's going on Friday nights at home, plus we're going to be doing broadcasts from Choctaw and the Gopher Warrior Bowl. So we have 3 away games. We won't be doing this Thursday at Keller, but there are a lot of people watching from distant places and supporting the teams. I just want to make sure you, the coaches and players, are aware of that.
I absolutely love that. And I appreciate the work that you guys do and that Jay Ryan does to make sure that that happens. Cause what a thankless job. And a lot of times people think it just kind of pops up out of thin air, but the fact that we've got a team that does that for us and that takes care of us. I've got other coaching friends who will, they're head coaches at places here in the DFW, and they're, hey man, how tell me about your coaches show. How is that set up? Tell me about how you guys live stream your stuff. And it's like, I'm so freaking spoiled here. It's like, we got a guy for it. We got a team for that. We've got people that they're giving their time because they want to make sure that we put out great content for our neighborhood and for our community. And so just and another layer to it, not only the job that you guys do and how much we appreciate it, but the love that you guys do it with. I mean, I don't know if I've had more people I feel in my corner whenever, hey, we're going through it and all of that. And Javi comes by and, coach, I love you, man. And just same thing. We'll talk on the phone and we finish it. And hey, love you, coach. Like that is what makes it so special. And that's what makes this place special. So thank you guys for what y'all do. And more importantly, thank y'all for how y'all do it, because, we talk about our vision here of making better humans. Well, part of that is the love piece. They got to know that they got love. And I know we've got love from you guys and we appreciate that.
Well, and it's likewise, and it goes 2 ways. For instance, I saw Ransom Burns at the volleyball game last Tuesday night. He came up to me, said, "Hey, Mr. Frawley, hey, Bo, how you doing?" And I said, "Well, good." And we talked. I was like, "You hydrating this week?" He goes, "Oh yeah, 4 bottles of Pedialyte, a half a bottle of pickle juice," and that was midweek, I think. But
Yeah.
it paid off. And then I saw Trey Keith and his dad at a grocery store recently. Oh, that reminds me, I meant to mention, and I'm going to go back to a game thing just real quick. I apologize.
Yeah.
Trey Keith, I noticed there was a time where the Waxahachie team kind of started something and our guys were about to respond. And I know there were other instances that I didn't see, but Trey Keith, I noticed, went over and he basically said, guys, get away from this, move back. There's leadership. And that's what you've talked about before in terms of how do we avoid unnecessary penalties and situations. And it's guys stepping up. And I thought that was worth a call up.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. And he's one. And I'm so glad that you brought him up, because he is a kid that has really stepped up as a leader. After that first game, and we were going through some things, and we had some kids with their heads down, and Deontay Gentry actually brought him up in front of the team, and he said, "Hey, I want to shout out Trey Keith, because I was going through it. I was down, and he texted me all through the night. He was making sure that we're okay." I mean, just he does little leadership things like that constantly. He's one that we've actually included in our leadership council just because of the things that he's doing, leading on the field, leading off of the field.
Cool.
And so I'm really glad that you guys are seeing it, because we definitely notice it, and we're lucky to have Trey Keith on our team and in our sideline.
All right. Well, looking forward to all kinds of great things come Thursday evening, 7:00 over at the Keller. Is it the Keller Sports Complex? Is that the
Yes,
actual?
it's I believe it's called the Keller ISD Sport Complex.
Okay, gotcha. And then, of course, Wednesday night, those who can be at home for the 6:30 kickoff of JV. Y'all be there doing some announcing. Freshmen away at 6:30. Coach, anything else you want to add before we close off?
Well, we were talking about volleyball. This is a big week for
Yes.
them. On Friday, they actually open district against Haltom. So they'll play Haltom here at home Friday. 5:30 is the JV and the 9th grade A team. They'll get going, and as soon as that's over, our girls will tip off. Is that what it's called to start a volleyball game, a tip off? I'm going to talk to Heather and I'm going to figure out what it's called.
Maybe
We're going
it's
to call it.
serve.
Okay, yeah, opening serve.
First serve. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna figure it out. So I have the proper lingo. I'm gonna get
But
with
Coach
her.
Woodman can definitely
That's it.
correct us and get us going.
That's it. And if I'm really, really way off, I'll have her come on the show next time, and she can. I'll let her give it the right way. So
wouldn't that be fun for her to make a cameo appearance sometime?
Oh yeah, we'll make it happen.
Okay.
But yeah, the
sorry, we're way off track.
We'll get going. The varsity will tip off or first serve. They're going to smack that ball, and that's going to happen as soon as the 9th grade and JV game is done. So I'm guessing 6:30, 7 o'clock ish, and then so get eyes on them, and then come support no, we don't even have let's go. We're not playing on the same night.
There's no football, so
there's no excuse. Everybody in the stands supporting our girls opening night. No excuses, myself included. Oh,
I'll see you there.
You just saw me put it together. Like, I'm so used to us being a Friday. I forgot we played Thursday. So y'all join us Friday to support our girls opening tip versus Haltom.
Trifecta of sports this week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All right, Coach. Well, until next time, I'm Bill Frawley with head Viking coach Billy Skinner saying VFND.
VFND.